How much did we spend in the last 50 years for land acquisition and distribution?
Do
O
you
ba,
have a
Dar,
history?
magkano na ba nagastos natin in 50 years? To redistribute all the land na 5 million hectares.
Ano pa lang, 4.5.
What
Four
is,
and a half.
what is,
Kasi natitira pa 500,000.
yeah, okay, so 4.5. So, magkano na yung nagastos natin?
286 billion from 1988 to 2016.
Okay, so we spent 286 billion and we're saying that we have 60 billion in collectibles sa land bank.
Yes.
And of the 286
So
billion,
marami.
7.5 billion ang binayaran ng farmers.
Yes.
Diba? Of the 286, okay, in the last 50 years, no? And of course, because of inflation, that value today is definitely much higher, no? Okay, just a few more questions so that I can wrap up, no? What is the average income of agrarian reform beneficiaries naman in a year? What is their average income?
From my knowledge, if you talk of farmers, it's below 5,000 a month. Kasi sabi nila, yung coconut farmers daw, typical, 1.5. Yung rice farmers, 4.5 a month. I don't know if yung land reform beneficiaries would have higher or lower income than them.
Yes, that's what I wanted to find out from the agrarian reform
Yeah.
secretary.
I have no figure.
Are the agrarian reform beneficiaries better off than the other farmers who are not beneficiaries of agrarian reform, or are they
Sabi
worse?
nila mga around 5,000 pesos a month daw.
Are they better off or worse off than the regular farmers?
Better off. Kasi sabi ko nga sa'yo, yung coconut 1.5, yung rice 4.5. So kung nasa 5,000 sila, they are more on the high side.
Who is more on the high side, the agrarian reform
The
beneficiaries?
agrarian reform beneficiaries.
If their farmland is coconut or rice?
On the average.
So the DAR is saying that they're better off.
Not so better off, but more on the high side.
Okay.
Because you cannot say that 5,000 a month is you're better off. It's
Correct.
really low. That's why we are doing this program, so we can raise it at least to 15,000 a month. Yeah.
Correct.
But if I ask you, do you think you can live with 5,000 a month? Then it's very difficult.
Definitely not. And we know that the farmers and the fisherfolk are the poorest in the country, di ba?
Yes, that's why. That's why we're trying to increase their income.
Yes, I'm trying to follow up on the question raised earlier by Senator Lacson. No? What can we show for spending 285 billion plus insofar as the agriculture sector is concerned, when it would appear that even if we distributed 5 million hectares or thereabouts of agricultural land in the last 50 years, it would appear that our farmers are they better off from the last 50 years, or are they worse off than when we started?
At least they have land in their name. So that's social justice. They always say that the aim of the Department of Agrarian Reform is to attain social justice. Na more Filipinos will have land in their name. But of course, developing the land is really a different story. That's why we have to improve our agriculture so that we can increase the income of farmers. They can be more competitive than their counterpart in other countries and so forth.
Yes, and can we do this by having average farmland of 1.1, 1.2 hectares per farmer?
That's why we are providing money to the Cooperative Development Authority, and we are encouraging farmers to build cooperatives, because some of the benefits from government will have to be given to cooperatives, like machineries. We cannot give machineries to individual farmers. They have to be owned by the cooperative because they're expensive, and only a cooperative can operate them for the members, so
Yeah.
that they can do the job. That's why we have to develop this, what you call, economies of scale. Kaya magtatayo tayo ng mga cooperatives, hindi bali yung mga seeds, yung fertilizer, you can give them individually. But the machineries, which will really make them competitive, you have to give to a cooperative, not to individual farmers, because we cannot afford to give them to individuals, and it doesn't, an individual will have no economies of scale to operate such machines.
Understood. And I am with the chairman in proposing that if we cannot corporatize the farm sector, then cooperatives is the next best thing. No? Although it probably is also very difficult to undertake. Nevertheless, there is a business model to follow, no, of some sort. Now, just to follow up on
The
that,
Department of Agrarian Reform said that they have organized 7,000 cooperatives this year, so that we can develop economies of scales.
okay, we hope it works, Mr. President. So let me move on to the next question. Insofar as the budget of DAR is concerned and helping increase the
Tumaas na pala.
productivity of farmers through the cooperatives, no? Is there a budget is there an appropriation in next year's budget for support services to cooperatives of ARBs in the DAR budget?
Meron ba? Meron? Hindi ba yung ano niya, 700 million? They have 700 million for development. That's their development budget. And of course, the budget of the Department of Agriculture, especially the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund and the cocoa levy development, the coconut industry development fund, the sugar industry, meron po sila for cooperatives. Oo.
Okay.
Hindi
So,
lang limit sa DAR, kundi the Department of Agriculture, covered din nila yung mga ARBs cooperative.
yeah. So the strategy being proposed by the chairman of the Committee on Agrarian Reform and Agriculture, or the entire agricultural sector, is that, okay, let's do the interventions to increase productivity for all agricultural workers, whether they are agrarian reform beneficiaries or not, be launched with the budget of the DA. Is that correct?
There is also a budget in the DAR budget, but it's 700 million only, 750 million. But in the DA, the DAR beneficiaries are included also to be beneficiaries of the program of the DA.
Yes. So
Then there is a budget, yeah, that's part pala of DA, yung sugar.
Yeah. Would that
All of
be
them.
enough to have 700 million out of the 9.8 or 12.4 billion budget for the agrarian reform? 700 million lang ang support services. Shouldn't we increase agrarian
They're
reform?
asking for additional budget, but this was the budget given to them by DBM. And of course, the priority is the distribution. I think that's the bigger of the budget.
Yeah, understood.
And of course, the agrarian justice pa.
Yes.
So I think the biggest budget will be in the distribution.
Will be in the split. Diba? Okay.
And there are other budget that are attributed to the land reform beneficiaries from the DNR, 170 million, from DTI, 121 million, and from NIA, 803 million.
Yes, so thank you for all the updates, Mr. President. I am satisfied with all the information provided. I look favorably at the budget of the DAR, especially the restoration of the cut budget for split. My point being that we have increased in the committee report the budget for the health department naturally because we are in a pandemic, and I think we're also increasing the budget of the education sector naturally because we have to prepare for face-to-face classes, and we are trying to also provide in this budget a budget for economic recovery and job creation and increase in productivity. And having said that, considering that the agriculture sector is the laggard in the Philippine economy, it might be necessary to provide more resources to the agriculture sector as a whole, no? And that's why we intervened in the budget of the agrarian reform, and maybe later on we will ask also a few questions for the agriculture department, which is also chaired by the sponsor, to find ways and means to increase the budget allocation for the agriculture sector. So thank you again, Mr. President, for allowing this representation to make the interventions today. And I thank the chairman of the committee for responding to all our questions. Thank you very much.